Free League just released the Sinking Tower for Dragonbane. An interesting little adventure using a term that I have never heard before. Let's take a look and discuss. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Sacred, and this is the Sacred Art of Gaming. If you're new here, we love talking about tabletop gaming, solo plays, and everything that comes with it. Alright, let's get right into this sweet little free PDF. Now I do want to be careful because I don't want to spoil anything if you end up being a player on this. So I'm going to break this up into two parts. First, some supporting stuff that this PDF provides you. So let's say, for example, you don't actually have Dragonbane. This is actually pretty handy to use as like give you an idea as to what you might be getting into with Dragonbane. So we have our art here in the beginning. So this is the Sinking Tower, really cool. And this is the part that I was talking about, tournament style Quickstart. Never heard that term before a day in my life, so I was very intrigued. I'm gonna go down, yes, Dragonbane, we have our intro. So this sums it up very well. It says this contains a condensed version of the core rules, which is very true. You're not going to get every single magic spell, you're not going to get every single skill, and you're not going to get every single piece of gear, but you will get the ones. You will get the spells and gear on like character sheets and some additional explanations if needed, but that's it. Same thing with the skills. So you're really just getting the bare minimum for what you would need to play your characters, but you still, with that said, you still are getting quite a bit to give you an idea as to like the feel of Dragonbane, which I thought was really cool. It lets you know like what the game master is going to be doing. You've got how measuring time is going to work. They mention like how the book is laid out with these little helpful tips and optional rules. And then we go through the basic rules and you get to see some of that sweet, sweet art. They explain to you how hit points and willpower is calculated. You also don't get the like kin laid out for you, but they are on your playable, like pre-made, your pre-generated characters, right? They explain the attributes, go into gear and coins and encumbrance, and they're definitely laying the foundation, but again, you're not going to get the specifics. Rolling the dice and how that works, rolling a dragon versus rolling a demon, rolling under as opposed to rolling high, that might be weird for some people. More sweet art, they kind of break down how boons and banes work, which is awesome. Pushing your roll, they break that down as well, which is very, very handy. Opposed rolls, like most games, just how they determine it might be different. They even have the combat and damage section with rounds and initiative. I'm actually kind of surprised that this part made it in. I think that I was a little surprised by how much is included in here. So then I started to think like, all right, what is not in here? And that's when I figured out it was really just the specifics in terms of skills, gear, magic spells, etc. They give you all the actions, really cool, really cool. How sneak attack works, melee combat. So you're really getting the majority of you're getting the back end of the game for the most part. Dodging and parrying and how that works. What you're not getting are things that, like, honestly, if you wanted to, you could have this for free. If for whatever reason you didn't want to purchase the game in its entirety, which I do recommend. I do think it's a really good game from a rule set perspective. In my opinion, the setting could use more love. I think most of the setting is kind of relying on the art. But anyways, damage, armor, how armor works, death, healing, conditions. Like, man, I mean, if you're someone who's familiar with Dragonbane, you have a pretty good idea. Healing and resting, and this is a 60-page PDF. We're at like 20 here. It's even going into the poisons and the fear table. Monsters. So monsters is another thing that you're not going to get specifics on. It's kind of giving you the building blocks of it. So if you wanted to build some, you could. Same thing with magic here. It is going to include a few spells So you've got some magic tricks, fireball, pillar, and gust of wind. And because that's going to be going with a player character. All right, now, this is where we get to the sinking tower specific scenario stuff. And I'm not going to read the entire situation, but here's the short and quick, or the quick and dirty, the soft and tender. Welcome to the Sinking Tower, tournament adventure for the Dragonbane RPG. It offers difficult challenges for even the most seasoned adventurers. The players will need to work together to solve puzzles, win battles, and find valuable treasure, all in just 2 hours. All in just 2 hours. That intrigued me. So they kind of go through, all right, here's the situation, and this is the backstory. And knowing the backstory is actually going to help you with some of the puzzles. So this is not just like meant to be a lore dump in my opinion. This is something that I don't know how, they don't necessarily implement this piece by piece. If I were to give a criticism for the different sections, I think that's where this could have been better. Maybe give the situation and then also give piece by piece lore through, like, I don't know, portraits or notes or something. All right, and then it also gives guidelines for convention play, which is really cool. So some obvious stuff, but I mean, still worth noting because time can get away from you. Keep up the pace. Let your players decide how they want to go about things, because this is essentially going to be like a point crawl. There are 7 locations that are predetermined, but if you want to make some on the fly, go crazy. Keep track of time, because time is important. Replace dead player characters, yep. Reward creative ideas, and most importantly, have fun, of course. And it gives you some, you know, here's a thing for you to read whenever the clock strikes 1 hour. And then here's the adventure opening. So this is where you begin. The sea wind howls and the smell of seaweed and decay stings your noses. You pull your cloaks tighter around you as the rowboat cuts through the restless sea towards your destination. Then the fog clears to reveal the sinking tower rising from the water. This is the moment you have all been waiting for. The day when the enchanted stone tower, said to have been built by a mad mage, rises from the sea once more. It only happens once every 20 years, according to the fishermen around the inn's warming hearth, and only stays above water for 2 hours. Then it sinks back into the deep along with its treasures. There is a ghostly green light glowing ominously at the top of the tower. That is where the sorcerer's emerald is said to be. Perhaps you will be the first to find it. And then you meet the mysterious one-eyed man. You are not the first to seek what is not yours, but I hope you are the last. Who I am does not matter, but up in the tower there is something that belongs to me. A green emerald that was stolen from me long ago. Bring me the emerald and you may keep the rest of the treasures you find in there. In exchange, I offer you an elixir of life. Whoever drinks this is brought back from the realm of the dead. So there are 7 locations, and this is point crawl-ish. You definitely need to kind of keep on track as to like which thing goes where, because they don't necessarily all connect in a straight line necessarily, which I think is good, keeps it interesting. Even gives you a sweet little breakdown as to like, hey, what if somebody... There's a lot of what-if scenarios that... Hey, if somebody were to do this crazy thing, how do I handle it? Well, there's a lot of pop-ups on the side, like, hey, climbing the outside of the tower. And that actually gets addressed. And you do have, it drops you off. This is where I'm going to kind of go to the very end here. And this is where you have maps. And this is, I'll show you just this first map. Yeah, this is the first map. So this is like the entrance, and this is known as the statue gallery. So this kind of gives you an idea. It has the same art style, which is really cool. You can see that it's like flooded or something. It looks like there's water in there, and there's like a hand and some statues. Potentially some type of puzzle that you have to solve, and there's also some stairs that go down. But you want to go up. So, to solve the puzzle perhaps? From there, I'm actually going to go through the pre-made characters. So this is at the... Actually, no, before the pre-made characters. One of the most important things, you might be asking yourself, hey, Sacred, what the hell? How am I supposed to do this within 2 hours? Like, I'm just going to do this story and everyone dies for no reason. And how is this tournament play? And how do we figure out who does better, etc.? Well, they have scoring, which is very neat. The gaming group scores points based on what they find and accomplish during the adventure. See the list below. Tiebreakers. If 2 or more groups are tied on exactly the same score, the group whose characters have the highest total hit points remaining at the end of the adventure wins. Replacement characters do not count. So, you get points for every treasure that you find. You get points for every floor discovered. You lose points for characters that were killed. You get points for solving the puzzle, finding different things, and yeah, even this I'm kind of conflicted on. I think this is okay. How quickly you can solve puzzles, like if it's on the first attempt or not. If you saved someone, if you defeated figureheads, defeating enemies, solving puzzles, and finding stuff. Yeah, and you get points for all those different things. You even get points for if you pass something without using combat, which is really cool. I dig that a lot. And then if you're curious, here are your pre-made characters. So you've got a human mage elementalist. Although they didn't necessarily explain like the skills and show you the skills, you get all the skills on the character sheet, so you kind of get the skills. And then although it didn't go through like all of the heroic abilities, all of the heroic abilities that will be used for this with these pre-made characters are spelled out here. And of course you could make your own characters or use your own characters and spin these up if yours die, for example. And all of these have like their own little backstories. So you have an elven hunter here as well, and these are all like fully decked out. The gear is not in the game, but like it will show you like for your armor here, you have your armor rating, and then it'll show you that for the longbow, for example, does D12 damage, knife does D8. And there she is. Next we have a mallard knight. So familiar art that we've seen before. Halfling thief, probably could have guessed that. Wolfkin fighter, the dwarven merchant, and a human mariner. I say "and" as if I'm confident that's the last one. Is it the last one? It is. All right, cool. So that has been our quick and dirty breakdown of the Sinking Tower for Dragonbane. What do you guys think? Is this something that you want to play with your group, or if you'd be interested in playing at a convention? Do you like the idea of, 2 hours to play and just seeing how many points you get? Is that even something new? Am I out of touch? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious. If you enjoyed this video, maybe slap a like on it. What do you say? And if you want to see this mug in some more future videos, maybe consider subscribing. We're going to talk about more gaming, solo gaming, Dragonbane, Sundered Isles, Index Card RPG, Crown of Skulls, Shadow Dark, Easy D6. Anyways, I am Sacred, and I'll see you in the next one as we explore Sacred Art of Gaming.